Hello and good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone, depending on what part of the world you are in. My name is Denis, and I am a Regional Director of Enrollment here at Hult International Business School. Thank you very much for joining us this Saturday. So exciting to see that we have people from all over the globe joining us today, from Spain, Italy, Macedonia, Indonesia, Dubai, Brazil, Mexico, France, Germany. Super international and diverse crowds, which is really what Hult is all about. So thank you for joining today. Today we have our Dean Monica, our Corporate Relations Associate, Angela, our Head of Student Services, Michelle, and a few of our current students that will be joining at the end to answer questions, the questions that you may have about Hult. So to give you an overview of the events, today we're going to start with Dean Monica walking us through the Hult Bachelor of Business Administration program. Then we're going to hand it over to Angela, and she's going to talk to us about our Career Services Department and how different it is from the other universities out there. Finally, we'll go to Michelle, who is going to give us the ins and outs of being a student at Hult and the social aspect of that. And to close it off, we'll have a Q&A with our current students, which to me is by far the most exciting part of this event, where you get the opportunity to really listen to them and have them answer any questions that you may have about what it is to be a student at Hult. Now, before we begin, just a quick note. If you do have any questions as we go through this event, please type them in the Q&A box, and we will do our very best to get to those questions as we go through and save some of the questions that might be someone else's questions to the end so that our current students can answer them. Now, without further ado, I'll hand it over to Dean Monica, who is going to walk us through the BBA program. Over to you, Dean Monica.
Thank you, Denis. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning here in Boston. I hope that you are all well today. And I'm very excited to be with you today to talk to you about our Bachelor of Business Administration program and what makes us unique in the business world. But first, we will start with a video.
We humans, we love to learn. We've got the hands, feet, ears, eyes, mouth, nose, and brain to figure out what works and what doesn't work from the world around us. It's instinctive, it's natural, and it works. So why not learn business this way? The secret to building the skills employers actually want is practice. Practice, practice, practice. So why not start in the classroom? At Hult, we take the theory, the research, the expertise, and we put the challenge into your hands so you find out what happens for yourself. We're not just about what sticks in your brain, but how you flex it. Because real life is not found on an exam. And with one-to-one coaching from day one, there's no way you're not hitting your goals. Thanks, coach. Graduation, it's more than finals. Showcase the skills you've learned with an online portfolio that speaks volumes in interviews, because grades alone don't show who you really are. P.S. With 5 campuses around the world, you're about to go global. There are a lot of places where you could learn about the business world. There aren't many places where you can live it. To learn business, you've got to do business. Makes sense, doesn't it? Hult, for those made to do.
So this is what we will be talking in the next few minutes about a curriculum that is made for those made to do. And one of our main features of the program is that we put doing at the center of learning. We believe that knowledge alone is not enough to make you successful in a business environment, but you will also need a set of skills to assist you along the way. So at the end of our program, we want our students to be able to graduate in such a way that will have the ability to take on any challenge that is ahead of them, either from starting their own company or from working for a 500 Fortune company. Our undergraduate program is designed around the fact that to master a skill, any skill, and I mean almost any skill, right? If you are thinking back at riding a bike, to working in global teams, you'd need to practice. And for that, we have created business challenges that will allow you to practice what you learn in every single class that you take at Hult. As you see on the screen, we have created a truly integrated program. And our program has 4 major pillars, and I will speak to each one of them. The first one is challenge learning. The second one is personal coaching. After that, you have skills development. And all of this will be wrapped into a business portfolio that is an online visualization of everything that you will be doing in the program. So let's go and speak to each one of these pillars. To the next slide, on the next slide, you will see that our first pillar, challenge learning, is really focusing on the recognition that knowledge is not enough, but we have challenges that allow you to do business and not just learn the theory of it. So now you might wonder, what is a business challenge that I'm talking so much of it? A business challenge could be anything from live client consulting to business simulations to hackathons to team projects. In each of these, you'll apply the learning and the skills that you learn in the courses to creatively solve business challenges that companies are facing right now. So there are not case studies, there are not stories that you read in books about, there are case studies, there are business challenges that companies are facing right now. Let's move to the next slide. And you'll see that in order for us to do this, to accomplish this goal that we had to reimagine your semester. And instead of having you taking 5 courses a semester, we have you take modules, 1 module at a time that last for about 6 weeks. And these modules will be 2 types of modules, core modules and specializations modules. And we will go into more details in a bit. But each of these modules will have designed and assigned a business challenge that will allow you to practice what you learn, the knowledge and the skills that you learn in classes. If we pause here, I realize that this is quite different from probably what you have seen in your educational career so far. So we will take a little bit of time to go in depth in each of these modules and topics. So on the next slide, you will see that the core modules are the foundation of your Hult education. They are designed to give you a well-rounded understanding of business knowledge and skills that could be applied regardless of the career choice that you want to have. You will see a broad range of situations, and you'll be taking through a broad range of circumstances that apply to businesses. In your first module, you'll start with a startup challenge, but later on, as the modules progresses, you'll have different challenges that you'll have to solve. Social impact challenges, challenges with global or local impact. So all of this will be something that will offer you the opportunity to learn and to apply those knowledge and skills to business situations in certain environments. Moving to the next slide, we have the specialization modules. And these specializations modules will define your minor and majors. Unlike the core modules, which will focus on the broader skills and knowledge of business, these specialization modules are designed to take you 1 step further, to go more in depth into the courses that you are studying, and to specialize, to develop those professional technical skills that you need to stand out in the marketplace. So to give you an example, if you'll be doing, if you are doing a marketing major, you'll be exposed to A/B testing or operating a Google AdWords platform. If you are doing a finance major, you'll build financial reporting, risk assessment skills, and so on. So these are a few skills that are very, very specialized, and you'll learn in your specialization modules, depending on what type of major or minor you want to do. But these skills are not set. So once you learn the skills and we continuously identify new skills, we will embed them in the curriculum. It's not something that if a new platform appears, you'll remain focused on the old platform that you have learned up to this point. Through a partnership with Burning Glass, we use big data analytics to continuously identify those professional technical skills that are needed in the marketplace. Because we want, at the end of the day, at the end of the program, when students are graduating, for them to be up to date and to be continuously updated with the evolving needs of business. Moving to the next slide, throughout the core modules, the specialization modules, and your entire program, you will benefit of the support of a personal career development coach. If you remember the 4 pillars, we had the challenge learning. This is the personal coaching aspect of it. From day one, but even before day one, even before you step foot on campus, you will have customized one-to-one support. And this personal career coach will work with you to evaluate your skills assessment, to identify what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and to help you connect the learning to your career goals. So let's see on the next slide, what is a personal coach and what do they do? A personal coach at Hult is much more than a simple career advisor that you would meet in a traditional school. Usually the students in a traditional schools are meeting the coach, the career advisor in their final year, the junior final year, when they want to get a job. At Hult, the coach is a key part of the student experience. The coach works alongside with the student, meeting in one-on-one settings to help you achieve your career goal. So how will they be doing that? They will be sitting with you and they will be reviewing the feedback that you receive on your assessment. They will help you identify what are those areas of improvement that you need to go through, what are those strengths that you have and you can count on for developing a career and for building a career. What are some gaps that you still need to look into? And of course, your coach will be there to connect the dots between what you are learning in the class and your career pathway. So whether you want to start your own company or to work in the corporate world, your coach is there to assist you along the way and to set you up for success. But of course, it will not stop only to this aspect. They will be there to help you stay motivated and help you stay engaged and have fun. Because we do believe that if you do the things that inspire you and the things that make you more employable, your university experience will be so much better. Again, regardless if you are thinking of starting your own business or starting a club or a society or getting in an internship or just meeting new people on campus, right? Or stepping out of your comfort zone, our personal coaches are dedicated to your experience. So besides personal coaching, we also have skills development as a pillar. And on the next slide, this relates to how you will be assessed. So skills development throughout the entire program will be tracked and assessed, and you will be able to see your progression from day one to the very end, right to the graduation. And this will happen in multiple ways. These are questions that I get a lot. You are talking about skills, collaboration skills, communication, mindsets, growth mindset. But how are you going to assess those? Because of course you are in a school, in a business school, and you need to be graded and assessed on your evolution and performance. So these type of skills are not easy to be assessed through an exam or quizzes or essay, but there are different other ways that we will assess those. And I will tell you on the next slide on how we are doing that, because we are not giving up to exams. So we will still have exams we will still have a minority of assessments focused on exams, because only 40% of your grade will be based on the way that you retain essential knowledge that later on you would need to apply to the business challenges. The majority of your assessment will be based on the challenges, on how do you apply that knowledge to solve real business situations. So if you have essays, exams, or other type of papers to assess you on how you retain knowledge, for a minority of your grading, 60%, 40% of the grading, the majority of it will be assessed on how you apply that knowledge and how you apply the skills that you develop to solve business situations. And we will be doing that in presentations. For example, in a presentation, we will assess communication skills. Team projects, we will assess collaboration skills, and so on. So challenges are something that we want you to focus on, and not just on memorizing things for exams. All of this, all of your developments throughout the year will be tracked, and you'll be able to see that entire progression, as I said, on your personal dashboard. But what does this mean at the end of the day? What all these challenges represent for you and for your experience, besides just applying and practicing the knowledge and the skills that you learn. So let's go to the next slide and see that after you graduate, at the time when you graduate from Hult, you will not only receive a transcript, but you'll also receive a portfolio. And throughout the entire time, you are building a portfolio. And the portfolio is an online visualization of everything that you have done through the program. And if you are thinking about project management planning, everything from project management planning to TED Talks, to digital marketing campaigns that you might be asked to develop during your marketing courses. All of it will be captured in such a way that you can demonstrate at the time when you graduate or when you apply for a job or for an internship. They can demonstrate what are the tangible outcomes of our program and how you master the business skills. So at the end of the program, you will not only be able to showcase what you know via a traditional transcript and diploma, but you will also have solid proof and tangible proof of what you have done and what you are able to do and capable of. So with this, we have covered the four main pillars, and I know that I covered a lot in these few minutes. So if we go to the next slide, I want just to summarize and give you a snapshot in a nutshell what this program entails. So you'll get to practice what you learn. You'll not get only knowledge, but also practice and apply the knowledge to business simulations and situations through the challenge learning. You'll benefit of a personal coach to assist you even before you set foot on campus, all the way up to the graduation to meet your career goals. Throughout the entire program, you will be developing skills that are needed to help you be successful in any business environment, and professional technical skills to help you be successful in your specializations field. And all of this, while you are doing all of this, you'll be building a business portfolio that you will be able to share with prospective employers. So this is, in a nutshell, our program, but we do have another important aspect that I want to mention. And moving to the next slide, I want to talk to you about our cornerstone of the Hult experience, which is the opportunity to experience different campuses and different parts of the world, and I would say the world itself in over 2 or 3 years that you stay in the program. We do have 2 main campuses, one in Boston and one in London, and the students can seamlessly rotate from one to the other. So you could come and spend one term in Boston, one semester in Boston, spend the other semester in London, or stay for 1 year on each of the campuses, or just be on one campus. And by being on one campus, you are not missing on exploring the world, because we have, and you'll be immersed in a melting pot of 141 nationalities, where each of your colleagues in the classrooms and on campus are becoming a learning opportunity. For the students and for those of you who want to advance and to fast track the program, you have the opportunity to take summer programs, and you'll be able to go to San Francisco, Shanghai, and Dubai. And in this way, you'll be able to experience all the 5 campuses that we have. But to give you a very, very quick visual on how rotation works, I want to go to the next slide. And here you will see a pathway that will help you graduate in 3 years, take a summer internship, earn a double major, and have the opportunity to experience London, Boston, San Francisco, Shanghai, and Dubai. All of this with the added benefit of becoming eligible to work in US or UK. So moving to the next slide, this is my final slide because I don't want to take too much of your time. I want to allow my colleagues to also talk to you about other features, and especially our students to talk to you about their experience at Hult. But I hope that you see how passionate I am about what we are doing here, and how proud I am of what we have developed over the years as a very, very solid and unique way of teaching business. But it's not only me. It's not only me who recognizes the value and the quality of our program. Our programs have been, and Hult has been accredited by the most 3 prestigious accreditation bodies in the world, ACSB, AMBA, and EQUIS. We are the first and only business school in the United States who holds this Triple Crown status. And among the few in the world, there are less than 1% of business schools accredited by these 3 prestigious accreditation bodies. We are also ranked in Poets and Quants, Bloomberg, and US News. And we partner with some very renowned companies and universities, Ernst & Young and Brown University, on some joint programs. If you remember at the beginning when we played the video was mentioning that there are many schools in the world where you could learn business, but there aren't many where you can live it. Hult is a place where you can live the business, because we believe that for doing business, you have to, for learning business, you have to do it. So if you are among those students, those people who are made to do, I want to invite now my colleague, Denis back, to talk to you about how you could apply to Hult and how could you become part of this community of doers.
Thank you very much, Dean Monica, for walking us through the BBA program and a little bit of Hult. Now, I'm going to speak about the application process, everyone, and I won't take too long, but this is very important because, as Dean Monica said, we are a truly, if not the only truly international university in the world, with students coming from over 140 countries. And we work in a way that we want to keep diversity on campus. So there's not a single nationality that represents more than 9 or 10% of the student body. So it is truly international. And being truly international, we understand that this could be perhaps your first application to American university, or your first application to university at all, which could be a very intimidating experience. And this is why our application process at Hult is a little bit different than your usual US university application process. So the first thing that students need to do when they are applying to Hult is to go to our website, hult.edu/apply, and fill an online application form. This is a form that takes from 10 to 15 minutes for you to fill, so very quick. And at the end of it, you pay an application fee of $75 US. Now, once you do that, you will have an application manager from Hult, and in many cases, an application manager from Hult from your own country that speaks your mother tongue, in order to reach out to you, in order to help you with the admissions documents collection. Now, what are these admissions documents that you will be sending to Hult with the help of your application manager? It will be one personal statement or personal statement video where you tell us a little bit about yourself. It will be a recommendation letter from one of your teachers in schools or professors at university in case you're transferring to Hult from a different university. It will also be your grades from your previous institution. So if you're in high school, you'll be giving us your high school grades. If you are in university, you'll be giving us your university grades and high school diploma. And in some cases, but not all cases, you will also be required to send us an English proficiency test. There are specific circumstances that requirement could be waived, but unfortunately, in some other cases, we will be asking students to comply with that requirement. Now, once all of these documents are sent into Hult and verified by your application manager in order to make sure they comply with our admissions process, you'll be invited for an interview where you'll be given the chance to speak to a member of Hult about who you are, about your interests, and why you want to join the university. And that dossier at that time is completed and sent to the admissions team, who will make a decision on your application to Hult. And in case you are accepted, you start to be invited for accepted students events, where you get the opportunity to interact with other accepted students to Hult from all over the world, and even more with our professors, deans, current students, and really start to transition into the Hult community. After that, you will make a decision if you want to come to Hult or not, and that is the confirmation stage. And if you do make the decision to come to Hult, you get campus ready, and we will help you to get campus ready. This usually entails a visa in some cases, in which case we have a visas team both in the UK and in the US that is there to support every single one of you coming to Hult with your visa application process. So another service that Hult provides in order to take away stress from what could be a little bit of an intimidating situation. And then you get your visa, fly to campus, and join us. If we could go to the next slide, please. Now, we understand that education is an investment, and different families in different countries have different situations. So at Hult, we truly believe in facilitating your journey towards our university through scholarships and awards whenever there is a need for it or whenever there is a merit for it. So we have three main types of scholarships and awards: merit-based scholarships, and those could be merit-based because you were writing an essay or sending us a video about a specific topic, or it could be an academic excellence scholarship. So a scholarship that we give you because of your academic performance in your previous institution. They could be both merit and need-based through the awards that we offer. Our awards entail a declaration of finance documents where your family shares with our university some information about the financial background, and an essay or a video. So whenever there is the need and the merits, that award is awarded. And then there are strictly need-based awards that we also have, where we look solely at the need from the family to receive support from Hult. So wide variety of aids and support that you have throughout your application process at Hult, and you get a lot of personalized attention to walk you through these different options as part of the process yourself. So you never need to go through any of it on your own. You'll always be getting support from someone at Hult to walk you through the different processes and opportunities. Now, if we could go to the next slide, please. And then the final slide on my end, which is early decision. We are very likely the only university in the world that, for the students that are very keen and committed towards Hult from the moment that they are applying, we give them a master's program at no additional cost after they graduate from their undergraduate program at Hult. The application process is the same. There's only two differences. The early decision application deadline is up to December 15th. And your confirmation deadline, which is when you need to decide if you want to take the offer from Hult in case you get one, is February 15th instead of May the 1st. So there's about a 6-week difference in that period. Other than that, the support and the help that you get from Hult is the same, and the documents that you need to provide are the same. So we definitely encourage the students that already know that they want to come to Hult throughout this process to select the early decision option, because at the end of your undergraduate degree, you'll be getting a master's degree at no additional cost, which is a very, very powerful combination for you to have once you leave your university studies and go into the marketplace. I think that's it from my side. Now I'll hand it over to Angela, who is going to be talking to you guys about career development and corporate relations. Over to you, Angela. Angela, I think you're muted.
Yes, sorry, I double clicked. Okay, well, thank you, Denis. And hello, everyone, again. Thank you for joining us today from wherever in the world you're dialing in. I took a look at the chat before the start of the event, and it's always a joy to see what a wide reach we can have with events on Zoom. First of all, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Angela Munaro. This is my 4th year at Hult, and I am the Corporate Relations Associate for our London undergraduate campus. In my role, I have the pleasure of overseeing employability initiatives, especially for what concerns connecting students with the business world through events in and out of campus. As part of the careers team, I also work very closely with our global career development team to ensure that we provide our students with a cutting-edge, in-demand employability curriculum. As we know, the world of work is always changing and growing, and the future is very much uncertain. So we want to make sure that we're bringing the most relevant information to our students. So when graduation comes around, you have the tools, resources, and network to be successful. Next slide, please. As you can see, within Boston and London, we have this amazing team of individuals. And very similar to the whole faculty, the career development team also comes from industry. So we can bring that practical recruitment experience to students directly and give them the support they need to succeed. We know what employers are looking for when they're looking for that early talent. We have recruiters turned advisors to offer that practical experience and make sure that you're competitive in an international job market. Additionally, we talk a lot about employability, but that's only one facet of what Hult students go on to do, just like Dean Monica said. Some might go to big brands, some might go to the family business, some might even want to start their own company. Again, we have the tools and resources to help each student achieve that goal. Next slide, please. So how do we do that? We have a robust program put together to support students in the process. We know that inspiration can hit at any time of day or during the weekend. So to encourage students to continue working on their career development, we have created a library of digital tools and resources called My Hult. We also have an online job board that I personally curate, where our corporate partners and alumni post opportunities specifically targeting our student population. Secondly, we have employability skills workshops, as we believe that the best way to learn is by doing. Sometimes that means going through your CV with a room full of other classmates, or doing some mock interviews so that you can hear firsthand what you need to do to improve those interactions. And we put all of those experiences together in this workshop setting. then the core of what our team of career advisors does and what we love the most is one-on-one advisory. One of the things that I believe sets Hult apart from many other universities is the fact that we take the time to get to know our students personally and one-on-one. There is no one size fits all in career development because each student, of course, is unique with different ways of learning, different goals and aspirations. So with that in mind, we have created a program that can be tailored to each student. Our two advisors at the London campus, Sarah and Roya, love getting to meet students face-to-face and hearing how they can build out a strategy to help them get there. Finally, we have networking, and that's where I come in. The corporate relations team across the world works together to bring different contexts to campus, whether those be professionals or alumni. When we speak to employers and ask them, what is it about Hult students that keeps you coming back? It is very often this idea of their international mindset, that they can work proactively in teams of students from all over the world with different ways of doing business and communicating, and that they have those strong soft skills. In these networking sessions, students have a chance to learn firsthand what it takes to work, for example, in consulting, or what they need to start their own tech startup. And they do so by hearing from someone that has been in that same positions not too long ago. Next slide, please. So what are the outcome of these strategies? Well, as you can see here, these are some of the numbers from our class of 2020. Needless to say, we all know it. 2020 was a difficult year, very disruptive year, especially for the employment market. So we're very proud to say that 98% of the class of 2020 was employed or pursuing an advanced degree within 6 months of graduation. If we break those numbers down a little bit more, we can see that 62% are fully employed, and on the right, you can see a sample of the companies they are now working on. 14% took the skills and the network they received at Hult and brought it back to their family business. Again, entrepreneurial spirit is one of our core values. And you can see that 13% of our undergraduate students start their own business. Finally, 11% are working in post-graduation internships. This is many big corporations in consulting, tech, and investment banking offer these post-graduation internship programs. They are very exclusive, very selective, very prestigious. They usually last around 6 months, and they very often lead to a full-time role. I'm also happy to say that 136 companies hire Hult students across 41 countries. And that means that the school name is growing on a global scale, and we are very excited to see what our students will choose to do next. Next slide, please. So we've seen some statistics, and they sure carry a lot of weight. But I think that what you're going to take back from this event is actually the stories of our students. So whether you're thinking of a big company like you can see Elia for Amazon or Zafar at Google, or getting into banking like George, or perhaps getting into a big marketing consultancy like Gabriella, who found the connection to one of our alumni that works at Havas here in London, or starting your own business like Elena, there are the tools, resources, and support to help you get there. With that, I'm done, and I'm going to pass on to Michelle from our wonderful student services team.
Hi, everybody. Hopefully you're all still with us, and hope I can bring a little bit of fun into the conversation to talk about all the fun and exciting things that we do on campus. So as Angela mentioned, my name is Michelle. I head up the Student Services Department on the London Undergraduate campus. Alongside me, I have two other members of my team. And what we're going to do in the next couple of slides is just discuss the extracurricular activities that we have on campus for you. So with that, if you can just click on for me. So first of all, we're going to talk about clubs and societies, and I know Dean Monica briefly touched on this in her presentation, but clubs and societies is a massive part of our whole experience or your university experience, and we strongly encourage all students to join around 3 clubs to enhance your CV and to really get involved in the community that we have on Hult. And I think community is something that we really do pride ourselves on Hult and student engagement. So we really do emphasize that people do join clubs and societies. And for us, we've broken our clubs and societies down to 3 categories. So if you can move on to the next slide, please. So our first one is our professional clubs. And as you can see here, here's a picture of a group of our students, the MUN club. So for everyone, or for anyone who doesn't know, MUN is a group of students that come together and they go to different conferences to debate current issues within the world. And that's just one of the clubs that we have. But for professional clubs, we actually have a club that is related to all the majors that Hult offers. And so again, we encourage students to join those clubs if you know what your major is going to be, just to get involved. HMCC, which is the Management Consultancy Club, is one of our most active clubs on campus, and they work with live clients throughout the year. And again, because it's linked to their major, it's something that's great. It looks really great on their CV. So we do strongly encourage everyone to join the professional club aspect. If you can move on to the next one for me. And then we have social clubs. So this might look like a weird picture. This is actually Jonas, who's one of our alumni, and he started a chocolate society, which might seem like quite a weird sort of club to do. And we were all a little bit skeptical at the time, but it was something he was incredibly passionate about, so much so that he actually launched it on the London Undergraduate, but then took it into San Francisco, London Postgraduate, and I think he even went into Boston at one point. And his whole premise was about how much he loved chocolate. He'd bring in different tasters and he'd get people involved into the business of chocolate. But the social clubs as well can be many things. So we've got something like Extravaganza Club, which is a club that we have on campus that organises events for students around London. We have our Creative Club, which is people that just come together and do everything that they find creative. We have music and jamming. So if you're passionate about music, you can get involved in that. They hold an annual sort of talent show as well. But it can be anything you want. It's anything that you're passionate about. And the great thing about clubs and societies on campus is that if we don't have one, you can start one. All we ask is that you have 3 board members, and you can come to student services and you can let us know, and we will help you start your club and society. And we view clubs and societies as mini businesses, if you like, because it gives you team management, budget management, and event management, which are all skills that you will need within the business world. And then if you could just move on to the next slide. So this is the third category we have, which is sports clubs, which is obviously quite self-explanatory. We offer a lot of sports clubs on the London campus. I know Boston also have quite a few sports clubs. In London, some of our clubs are part of the London University Sports League. So our football team, our basketball team, I believe our table tennis team are going into it, and we did have a tennis team. And what this league is you compete against other universities within London to win a cup at the end of the year. And our football team has done super well in the past and won that league a couple of times. But again, as I was saying, if there's a sports club that we don't have and you're passionate about it and you want to start it, it's really, really simple to do that. And like I said, us in student services are here to help support you to do that. Next slide, please. And so then to talk a little bit about the events, as I said at the beginning, like we are the fun department on campus, not to take away from my colleagues in other departments, but we are here to try and make your experience as fun, as engaging as possible. So we do events pretty much every day on campus and off campus. And in the picture, you can see a couple of them. So the one in the top left-hand corner is our clubs fair, and that's the first floor social space on the London campus. So if anyone who hasn't seen it or any images, that's part of the campus space. The picture on the right-hand side is just examples of what we do for De-Stress Week. And De-Stress Week is a week that we run prior to exams. We appreciate that students are highly stressed, trying to put everything in. And so our job in student services is to try and help you accommodate that by giving you things that will hopefully reduce that anxiety level, whether it's giving away like free tea, hot chocolate, bringing therapy dogs onto campus, anything like that. Your mental health and well-being is something that is absolutely paramount to us, and so we always try and make that a sole focus of what we do. Then the bottom left-hand corner is our global village, and this is an event that we did for students where they can showcase their culture through food and drink. Normally we have around 30 different tables, which is 30 different countries that are represented, and it's a chance for students, like I say, to showcase their home country and their food. And a lot of them actually wear traditional costume as well, which is really nice as well. And then the final picture that we have on the right hand side is our winter ball. So we do two flagship events we would say every year. One is the Winter Ball that we hold in December, and one is our annual awards, which we hold in April. And we hold these two events at venues in London that, you know, like I'm trying to think of a best word for it, but venues whereby students would know them, the iconic venues. So the one that you can see actually in that picture is Madame Tussauds. We've done Cutty Sark, we've done Shakespeare Globe. We are going to have our Winter Ball at the Natural History Museum as well. So all the big venues in London, we really try to get that for the exclusivity to Hult students that you wouldn't be able to have in other institutions. And we do loads of different events. Obviously, this is just 4 of them that I've mentioned, but there are lots of things that happen on the London campus and the Boston campus similarly as well. And so again, it's our job in student services to make your lives as fun as possible on the London campus. And equally to this point, if you did want to run an event for whatever purpose, you can come and see us in student services and we will help you set that event up as well. If you can move on to the next slide, please. And then we're going to talk about our whole student association, so HSA for short. And this is the Student Council. They are elected every March, April time by the student body to act for the students. As you can see, it's a group of 7 students. And they are the link between staff and students. So we meet with them sort of every couple of weeks. They feed back to us about what's going on in the student body, what improvements we can make, and we work incredibly closely with them. And you as an incoming student not in your first year, but as you're coming out to the end of your first year, you will also have the opportunity to put yourself forward and run for HSA. So what I love about the Student Council in Hult is that because we're such a small community, they really do make a difference. They really do make an impact. So if that's something you're incredibly passionate about, this is something that you can do as a student in your first year, or sorry, be elected in your first year. And these guys that you can see in the picture are always available for any incoming student to speak to as well. So if you would like to speak to any member of the HSA, please do reach out to someone and we can absolutely connect you with them. And then I think we're going to go on to a video. So a quick campus tour video for everyone.
Thank you very much, Michelle, and everyone that has contributed for the event today. Now it's time for us to go live to our London campus, where our 3 current students are. How are you guys doing today?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much. Maybe let's go around the 3 of you and have you introduce yourselves before we go into any questions. Can we do that?
Okay. Yes. Hello, guys. Nice to see you and welcome you to this Hult session. My name is Sophie, and I'm a 3rd-year student here at Hult. I'm majoring in management and probably pursuing a minor in psychology. And yeah, I'm engaged in many clubs and societies, for example, the Hult Management and Consulting Club, or I'm attending different events such as the Inclusive Finance Society and so on. So if you have any questions about those, you can always reach out to me or my colleagues as well.
Okay, sure. Hi, I'm Noah. I'm also from Germany, and I'm also a 3rd-year student. We all started together, so we all progressed at the same rate, basically. I'm also doing a management major. Not entirely sure if I want to do a minor yet. That's still not fully out. But yeah, I'm also involved in many clubs and societies. For instance, I'm also president of the Hult Poker Club. So that's the one I founded. So in case you do come to Hult and want to have fun and play poker, hit me up. And yeah.
Yeah. My name is Vipra and I am from Norway. As both they mentioned, we're at third year now and I have decided to do my major in finance. I'm also a bit unsure if I still trying to figure out what I want to do my minor in, and I'm also involved in a lot of clubs. So if there's any questions about any society and clubs, just ask.
Thank you so much, guys. So during the event, I got a few questions about if classes are in person, what happens if because of the pandemic, I'm not able to go to campus. So during the pandemic, we, as you can see, installed artificial intelligence technology in our campuses that allows for students from all over the world to follow the courses live, as we're speaking to our students on campus now live, and I am from the comfort of my home at the moment. So this is an example of how you could follow Hult courses from home in case you're unable or unwilling to come to campus because of a very specific reason. Now, I'm going to kick off the questions with some classics that we usually get from the audience. So can any of you, or maybe two or all of you, just tell us why did you choose Hult in the first place?
Yeah, I'll take that. First of all, like a lot of students or a lot of you guys might be right now, I was also a bit confused about like moving to another country and the different opportunities that different university offers. And I had a look at a bunch of universities, especially like maybe in London and also in America. And one of the things that actually attracted me a lot was that you can choose different campuses according to like different semesters. Like as you guys have mentioned, like here in London, but also like in Boston, San Francisco, Dubai and Shanghai as well. So I think that was like a great part of why I chose Hult. And from like the beginning of when I applied for it and wanted to like get more involved in it, I got a lot of support like from the beginning of my application, even like to the end. And even now, if I have any questions regarding like my future studies or everything, I think one of the plus points is how they are navigating us attracted me a lot in the beginning. I can just definitely agree with what Vipra said. What I also had, like in my high school, we had a lot of project work, so I didn't want to go back into this huge classroom where you are like one of 200 or 300 students and you never do anything together really. And that's not the case at Hult, because like you have like maybe 30 people, 40 people in a class, so it's very private kind of, and you also have a lot of projects during in each class during each term. So yeah, so you always interact with the other people, as has been mentioned before, and that's what gets you the international mindset, and also like considering the different views because of the culture and so on. And like this was one of the most significant points why I also chose Hult.
Maybe quickly from my side, I obviously agree with both. I think the global rotational programs are amazing. The opportunity for you guys to have like, hey, I want to do this semester in Dubai, or this one in Boston, or this one in London. I think one thing that I really liked about Hult was the flexibility and the like how adjustable the program itself is. And I also really like the course selection, because you can really obviously in the first year you have your like mandatory courses that you like have to take the basics, so you get like a core understanding of each subject. But then once you move into your second, third or fourth year, you really start to have like you can work with the electives, you can choose the courses that you are passionate about, whether that's like business and filming, for instance, in that industry, which major, which minor. And so that's something I always really enjoyed. And especially we also have summer courses, or like in summer semesters, where you can also do courses basically. So that's for people that maybe want to speed up the program. They can like do programs at the summer times. So like just like speed up the process if they, if they have a place to be. And obviously I also like the idea that when I applied and I got accepted and everything, and I gave an early decision. I got a free master's program. So yeah, I can immediately after the bachelor's go onto any campus basically and do the master's. So I think that's something that's really cool. And I think Hult really tries to offer you a great like opportunities and opens you many doors.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Now, I'm getting a few questions about housing and accommodation. So can you share with us a little bit about where you live and how do you get to campus?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So in my first year, I lived in a student accommodation in Shoreditch, which is like 8 minutes by bus from Hult. So that's what I chose because I also wanted to have like the experience of a student, you know, in a student accommodation, which is like kind of cool, but I also wanted to choose another part of London, so I get like to know a bit another like part of London, which is like cool, and not only stay next to Hult, but there's a good student accommodation as well. But now I moved into a flat which is like 5 minutes away, like walking distance from Hult, with another she's a fresher here at Hult, so we met before she came to Hult, and we like texted and so on, and then we got along really well. So yeah, now I'm living in a flat.
So quickly for me, because I was there where probably many of you might think about going if you do want to come here. I was on a student accommodation called Chapter. That's the one that's really close to the Hult campus. It's basically next door. So it takes like 1 minute to like get in and out of the different things. And I was there for the first year because I felt like it's quite important or interesting, because like most people from Hult go for the first year to Chapter. So it's ideal to like meet people, find new friends. And there are a lot of opportunities, and also obviously the people there might be your age group. They have similar interests. So I think that was a really smart choice of mine. I met so many cool people there, and we had so many events at Chapter in the evenings there. And then now for the second year, I went to just a normal flat because I wanted to like feel a bit more independent. I wanted to do more things on my own. And so I moved very close to here. I think I just walked like 5 minutes. And so, yeah, that's where I am now.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, go for it, Vipra. Go.
So I like, as you said, like a lot of students, they decide to live at Chapter just because it's the first year and they don't know like the city as much, and like you meet a lot of new people and it's very close to school. I personally, I decided to find my own place. Like there's so many websites like Spare Room and other. The transport here is pretty good as well. So like even if you decide to like live half an hour away, there's always an opportunity to like take the tube or the bus or anything, or even walk. So I think as a recommendation, like maybe a lot of students find it easier to live at Chapter, then get to know people, and then after that move in with someone they know after living a year at Chapter. But there's also a lot of other good recommendations and accommodations to find here.
Thank you so much. Now, how is the relationship with the professors at Hult?
Sure. So I think the relationship is fairly close. I mean, as close as a teacher and a student can get. I think it's important that you are able to talk to the professors also outside of the classroom. So what I oftentimes, just the other day actually, I had some questions about my management major. So I talked to Giorgio, who's our management professor, if you could maybe meet up for a coffee and maybe talk about it, because there were some questions I had regarding which courses I should take, which might be interesting, because obviously he knows a bit more. And then we talked about that, and he told me which courses he thinks would be right for me maybe, and we talked about my interests. And I think that's quite important, that you're not just like, that the professor's not just like a robot standing there, just like talking about his stuff and that's it. So I do feel that we have a better relationship than most universities with their professors. And I think that's also what makes it so much easier and so much more fun and interactive to work with that professor. Because in a classroom, obviously, if the professor is actually interacting with you and you are a person for them and not just a number, then I think I feel more engaged in the classroom, and I think I have a better and easier time learning and actually being in the right mindset for the class.
Yeah, I just had a recent case as well with the professor. Like, I needed to write an assignment and it was kind of overlapping with another topic he taught me last term. And so I asked him, oh yeah, can we maybe meet up on Zoom? And then because he was like somewhere else in another country at that moment, and then we just met on Zoom, and then we were going over my assignment, and he gave me like instructions, or not instructions, but like guidelines on what I could include as well to really improve my assignment. And I mean, the business world, you know, it's not separated topics, but everything is kind of overlapping, and that's what you're kind of supposed to do at Hult as well, like form those connections. And he really helped me with this topic, although he isn't teaching me in this term. So he's always, or the professors are always very engaged, even though you're not directly a student in their class anymore, which is like really important. You kind of feel very safe and secure, and you can ask questions and so on. And yeah, that's really great.
Yeah, I think, but that has a lot to do with like that there are not a max, like the number of students in every class. It's not like that there are 200 people in one class, but the professor actually has time to like engage with one student. And like on my Hult, you can just like book an appointment with the professor and they can help you, like even like in person or on Zoom. Like I think that's a great thing. So I think the professors here are very hands-on on actually trying to reach out to each student if they need any help or any clarification on any subject.
Amazing. What do you guys like the most, and what do you guys like the least about London?
Who wants to start?
I think at least what I like the most is like the amount of like how different everything is. Like, first of all, if we talk about Hult and London, it's like it's an international school. You get to meet so many different people, and there are so many things you can do here. London is so big, and you can literally find everything here. From like, I know a lot of students here are international; they come from abroad. But I think even like I'm from Norway, and one of the things where I was missing was like, okay, maybe the food and things, and there's like a bunch of like different restaurants and a lot of like different stores as well, where you can like, I found like in a Scandinavian shop here in London, in the middle of London. I found that very good.
Yeah, so definitely like I can agree with Vipra that the diversity in terms of like food, people, stores, or like just passions you have is really amazing here in London. And that's what I really like. And there's always some kind of event for whatever you like. And what I also like, in my opinion, everyone behaves quite professionally in London. So not only at Hult, but also in London in general. And that's what I really like, because we're like in a business school. So I guess we like to act professionally. What I don't like about London, that's quite a difficult topic. I don't know, to be honest, at the moment.
Maybe the weather.
Yeah, okay, maybe the weather and the traffic, like on the streets. But I mean, if you take the tube or other train lines, then it's fine. But yeah, I think those are the two disadvantages of London.
All right, and last question for today, because then we have to run. What advice would you give someone that is undecisive as they're going through this process of applying to universities?
Shall I take that? Okay. Now, what I would suggest to you is really think about what are your actual core interests, you know? And for me, one of the reasons why I decided to go to Hult, obviously Hult is an international business school, and I think business in general, that industry is becoming increasingly more and a bigger topic every day. We are constantly surrounded by it. So that's what I thought. We are constantly surrounded by the idea of people marketing us through something. There are businesses we are involved in. And I think it's important that we have a basic and core understanding of what is actually going on in the world, because without that knowledge to understand, I think it's hard to like apply it to like other industries. Like without the basic knowledge in that like business industry, you can't really understand political issues. You can't really understand environmental issues. Like everything is interconnected with each other, and business is such a big part of it. And so I think it is such like, you can never do anything wrong with a business degree. I mean, you can obviously specialize in other fields, but with a core business degree, I think it's as safe as it can get, because there's so many opportunities for you to like develop yourselves and go into a niche industry. And so that's what I suggest. Think about what you want to do, but also think about what the world is, about, and what the world is developing into. And yeah.
And like, I just want to add one thing. When I was like in the beginning of my application, I was very confused about different universities and stuff. And one thing I'll advise is just have a look at what is actually Hult offering that other universities are not offering. And when I first made up lists with comparing universities, I found out that Hult is very, very, very future orientated in every class, and in whatever you will be having in like different subjects. You will always be like, okay, this is what's happened, that's fine, but okay, this is what's happening now, and this is what is going to happen in the future. And in the future is where we will be working, and where we will be working in like the main markets, right? So I think that's a huge point to just like have a look at what Hult is offering and what you might not find in other universities as well.
Yeah, okay, and then lastly from my side, I mean, I told them like many people from like different backgrounds, not only culturally, but I mean like what they did before in their life before coming to Hult. Like some come directly from high school, others started their business, others worked, I don't know, at a marketer, at a big company, I don't know. So everyone has so different experiences. So you always get some kind of glimpse into another life or field. So even if it's not only about the business degree, you can get or make connections to other industries and kind of tap into that. And as Noah said, like the business degree is like the foundation kind of our daily life. So yeah, and if you have just any questions, just talk to maybe students who are already at Hult or at the other universities if you're trying to really get like an insight, and maybe just chat to them if you can via WhatsApp or Instagram or LinkedIn, I don't know. So you can just get their perspective, and I guess that will help you a lot.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for all the answers and for joining us on a Saturday. I also want to thank all the speakers today that have joined us. I know that there's still some outstanding questions, but unfortunately we gotta close it up for today. So if you still have further questions that you want to ask Hult, or you want to ask a student at Hult, please go to our website and get in touch. And our regional enrollment team closest to you will get in touch to you, and we'll be able to further assist you with the questions and doubts that you may have. Thank you so much for joining us today. Wishing everyone a very, very good weekend ahead, and looking forward to the next event. Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend.